Is it rolling, Bob? Hello, we're back.
You turn that down a bit, that's a bit loud.
We're back. See you inside. Hello, we're back. This is our first video in a few months. For people that are new to the channel, what we normally do is we talk about knitting. So I do this type of stuff, and what I would suggest is if you're new to the channel, then maybe you want to go back and look at some of our earlier videos, because in this video we'll be talking about what's been going on within our lives. And I've got somebody joining me in a minute. Got Mrs. Smith going to be sitting there, and we're going to be talking about what's been happening in our lives over the last few months. So if you're new to the channel, this probably isn't the video for you. I know that there have been a lot of people have written to us and said they're concerned about us, but on the whole we have been pretty well over the last few months, but we've had a lot of family issues and other things that we've had to deal with. Mrs. Smith hasn't been totally well. In actual fact, why should boot? This is her boot that she's been wearing for the last month or so, because she had a fall at the beginning of December, and subsequently from that she was ill as well. But mostly the issues have been with family. But yeah, we haven't had the easiest of times over the last few months, but we are both well as far as we know, apart from Mrs. Smith doesn't stop coughing all the time. If she starts, then she coughs. I thought she was joking the first time that she did it. She's on antibiotics and she's picked something up from the kids. Don't know, we don't know what she's had. We know the kids had strep A. And we know that when Kitty took the kids in and the children were diagnosed with strep A, the doctor said, I better check you over. And a couple of minutes later, she was on the resus table because she had sepsis. So that's been our December. But prior to that, we've still been busy with lots of other things. The only thing I've not been busy with is knitting, unfortunately, because at the time that we stopped making videos, it wasn't our intention to stop. It's just that life got in the way. But at that time, I was really looking forward to that autumn period and that cozy knitting. And, you know, I had plans to finish Mrs. Smith's shawl, and I'd gone up into the loft and I'd got all my stash down and everything. And that's an episode in itself. I'm actually really looking forward to doing the stash episode because I've moved all of my yarn from the loft and it is now in the shed. And if it ever stopped raining, because we're in Cornwall, for those of you that don't know, southwest tip of England, it just rains from about September to about May. June, something like that.
Doesn't.
Doesn't it?
No, you're exaggerating.
I'm exaggerating. We do get the odd sunny spell, but we do get an awful lot of rain. Anyway, that's Mrs. Smith. We'll be getting her involved a bit later in this video. But during the last 4 months, when we've not put a video out, she has still been doing her travels with my yarn videos. So what I want to do is I want you to take you back now to the summer when everyone was happy and everyone was okay and all the kids weren't ill and all of our grandchildren weren't ill. And so this is Kitty's birthday party, and this was filmed in Falmouth, and you'll see that we put on the red arrow especially for Kitty on that day. Very expensive if you want to do that type of thing, but because it was her 22nd, you'll see a little clip of me with a balloon at the beginning. So this is Kitty's birthday party with the red arrows from August or end of August last year.
I don't know, this has to be a gang gimmick. I don't know, didn't describe it to me. The things we needed for have to get there. Beware. Thanks everyone. Cheeky. Is he lovely now?
Any more for this little food in the bed?
Yeah, they're going to go on the climbing frame a bit. Go on then, knitting man, to come round to you. Where are you? Come on then. Get in with mum. Right, what are we doing? Is it a photo? Yeah, your baby's 22.
Wow, okay. What's the stuff inside?
What we do, at this age, what we do is we do videos and then you screenshot the video to get a photo.
Oh my goodness, there's 6 children.
What's this? Does that look right to you? Does that look right to you? He wants it.
Give me some of that.
Hold on. Grab it. Go on, grab. Oh,
Ah, nearly.
so close.
Sleeping up there.
Can you hear me?
Stop hitting me. Up in the sky. In the sky, up there. You see them feet? Look, up there.
They're going to drop over, can you see?
They're
coming
coming
down.
Close your ears, everybody!
Coming down.
Hold your ears when they come! Ow! Close your ears when they come.
They'll come back in a minute. You won't know where they're coming from. Whoa! There they are, look. What are they doing? Can you see?
What is silver?
Can you see they'll come back this way in a minute?
Oh, look, they're right there. Oh my god! It's like a ride of flambons! Arthur. Like a ride of flambons!
Are you ready? They're going to drop in a minute.
That must be scary.
Can you see them? Whoa.
Do you hear how loud they are? They are so close together.
I know, it's scary, isn't it? They do crash sometimes.
Yo, he's so fast! He's gonna drop. Hey, he's speeding! Wait, no, he's not.
So there you are. I got her here. She's
Hello.
here. Oh, flowers in the way. Can't see my lovely face. There you go. These are dried flowers. Were they dried on the day, Jo? These
are from my sister's wedding. She got married in November.
And that's your little bouquet there.
Bridesmaid's bouquet. Bridesmaid. Maid of honour.
Should we put a clip of the wedding in here?
Yeah.
We'll put a little bit of a clip of the wedding in here.
A happy event.
A happy event.
Oh yeah. Come on,
Okay, so that was a little clip from November of Jo's sister's wedding, and but prior to that, after Kitty's birthday, so we're looking at September. So as we came into autumn, our major issue was your dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, we've talked about my dad before.
Yeah, people will know the King of Brini. You'll know him from he hoards. So if you follow me on Instagram, I think I've put pictures of, you know, his collection of soaps, or his collection of bleach, or his collection of beer, or his collections of pies. He was born in 1939, so he has legitimate hoarding tendencies, a bit unlike me. So when we come round to, I mean, I've been clearing the loft for, I'm sorry, there's a message just come up on there, and it's just throwing me. But I've been clearing the loft, and the kids did say to me, Dad, we don't want any of this stuff should anything happen to you, so you better start thinking about it. And when you're in your early 50s, when you're in your late 50s, you start thinking about these things. So we have been having a life clear out as well, haven't we? Yeah. But our main concern, because he went down quite fast. Do you want to talk about it?
Well, yeah. My dad, we knew basically that there were issues, that he was beginning to become very forgetful and confused. But it's been very difficult. I'm sure other people have experienced this. They're very clever when they start becoming confused, and you suspect things, that when you get medical people to come round, memory test, he passes with flying colours, of course, counting back from, what was it, 10 or something?
Or 100, or even in the alphabet
he could
backwards.
Probably do it when he was 5. It's one of those.
Something that he learned as a young person. He could do that.
So he passed, but we knew.
Oh, hang on, muck of the week. This is I'd like to see maybe later on when I've drunk that. It's a Donna Wilson mug.
Beardy guy.
And yes, my daughter bought it because she thought it resembled me. But I did have a much bigger beard. It's gone now. But
back to Brini.
King of Brini.
That's not really his name. He's not really a king, bless him, but it suits him. Yeah, so me and my sister knew that there was an issue, and we had to keep going on about it. There were things. He started seeing things. He started saying somebody was coming into his house. They were letting themselves in, and they were moving things, and for a while we were worried that somebody actually was, because he will go to sleep and leave his door open. So we had all the locks changed. So we were convinced nobody else had a key, nobody else could get in.
But they were still coming in.
Apparently.
But he was seeing his parents as well. He started to see his parents and stuff like that, didn't he? Or his mum.
Yeah, it was obviously there was something not right. And then he suddenly called us and said he couldn't switch his oven off. And we were miles away, so my daughter and son-in-law had to go round, and he was asleep in the chair. the place was roasting hot.
Oh, the heating was on. It was a hot day. The heating was on. The oven was on.
Well, it wasn't actually the oven. It turned out to be the grill, which I think is slightly more dangerous. And he... Excuse me.
Can I just interject here? Because
Sorry, cough.
when Jo injured her foot, she had 2 falls. She had a fall in November, but she was just bruised all over. And then she fell off a chair. And then she had a fall which was falling down granite steps, which was in the beginning of December. And at that point, I started calling her Bootsy Collins. And some of you, so you might have to look that one up. And of course, when she started coughing, which was like just before Christmas, I changed it from Bootsy Collins to Teresa Coffee, which she didn't mind Bootsy Collins, but she does mind Teresa Coffee for some reason. Anyway, sorry, carry on. You were talking about your father.
For Weenie?
Because that's what I do. I'm like Ronnie Corbett.
This is quite serious.
You always say I'm like Ronnie Corbett. I go off on tangents. There you go. Carry on.
Can't remember now.
What happened was one week he forgot how to use anything.
Oh yeah. So he couldn't use the oven anymore.
He couldn't use his dishwasher,
he
microwave.
Suddenly couldn't remember how to use the microwave or the washing machine, which he'd been using for years and years. So we went round and we had to put stickers on everything, arrows.
On, off,
turn it to here, turn it to there.
Yeah.
At which point we were still trying to get help.
But at this point we thought, if he can't work a microwave, how is he driving his car?
Well, also, how's he eating?
Well,
how was he eating? There was that worry that he's not even eating. What was he eating? Also, we knew he has piles of tablets. I don't know how many every day. But he couldn't work his tablets out.
He couldn't remember.
I was going round and there was piles of tablets. And I was like, what are these piles of tablets on your coffee table? He couldn't remember if he'd taken them, if he hadn't. And then he'd started taking extra because he thought, I've missed them. So it was all very worrying. So my sister had a long battle to get him blister packs, which apparently are very difficult to get. So fortunately for us, he was issued with a blister pack. But even then, he
was waking up at, say, 3 o'clock, and it would be light outside, and he was thinking it was 3 o'clock at night, or it would be. He had no sense of time. He lost his sense of time. So he was then
taking his tablets wrong because he didn't know what the time was.
Yeah. So we got him a clock, but that.
Well, no. First of all, he finally had a test where he actually didn't pass eventually, and there was concern, especially over him possibly overdosing because he got his tablets wrong.
This is a memory test. This isn't a driving test. So at this point, he's still driving.
No. Yes, he's still driving. Then we get, fortunately for us, in the end, we were assigned carers to come in every morning to check he's taken his tablets, to check he's eaten. And they're wonderful. I would like to say how wonderful they are.
Yeah.
And they suggested a dementia clock because he didn't know what time of day it was. We went round one morning at 10 o'clock in the morning and he was going to bed. And he went, you're late. And I said, Dad, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. At which point they suggested a dementia clock. So the dementia clock, if you don't know, they're wonderful things. They tell you what day it is, whether it's the morning, afternoon or evening, what time it is, which really helped, which has been great. Then we decided, because he suddenly started to go down really quickly, at which point we were very concerned that he was still driving, which is his life. He was a car dealer. But he loves his car.
But you can't tell anyone. There doesn't seem to be a process. You phone the doctor and you say, well, how is he still driving? And the doctor says, I'll get on to...
Well, no, it was actually, I think, the
carers. It was the
carers,
not the doctor that sorted it out.
That said, you have to go through the GP. The GP has to refer him to have a driving test. And the carers sorted it out for us.
Yes, because we tried to get the doctor to refer, and the doctor wouldn't refer.
The carers were wonderful. So eventually we knew who to call. We got him on a list. There was a waiting list.
3 months.
For this driving test. I believe it was 3 months.
3 months.
At which point he was still driving.
Yeah.
he was very angry about having been referred for a driving test, because it was his last way of being self-sufficient.
His last bit of independence.
But in good conscience, you can't let somebody that doesn't know whether it's day or night, what day it is,
Can't work a
carry on driving.
microwave.
No.
So yeah, that was a sad day, really. I mean, the lady that took him on the driving test.
Well, before that, he was eventually sent for a brain scan, and we actually had confirmation that it is dementia and vascular
dementia and Alzheimer's. So
Alzheimer's,
he's got
yeah.
a double whammy.
Yes, so we knew this, so we accompanied him eventually to his driving test, where we told them, obviously, this is the diagnosis now. But he was still allowed to have a test. He could still pass the test and be allowed to drive,
Yeah,
which was a bit worrying.
yeah.
But he had the test. They asked him questions first, and he didn't know what day it was, he didn't know what month it was, he didn't know what year it was, he didn't know where he was. And he insisted his car was automatic, which made us
Question
ourselves,
because we were like,
because
no,
we
it's
knew it was a
manual.
manual. But he was so adamant, in the end we were like, are we wrong?
Yeah.
No, we weren't. It was manual. So anyway, he was taken out on a test. And the poor lady's face when she came back.
Yeah, she was visibly. She
Bless her, she was visibly shaken.
Yeah.
And she'd had to take the wheel off of him quite a lot.
And luckily it was dual control, so they didn't crash.
He's actually ringing.
He's phoning at the moment. He phones about.
Bless him.
We're filming this on Joe's phone, as you probably all know. But it's also the phone that he uses to call us. He calls us about 7 or 8 times a day, usually to tell us what he told us in the last phone call, or what he told us yesterday. Anyway, should we stop here and see if he's okay? So there you go.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's just won £10 on the postcode lottery.
So it's very exciting.
It wasn't 10 million. It was £10 on the postcode lottery. And now everyone knows. I'll close this door because the dogs next door are barking, which they always do when we do a video. We love dogs.
Yeah, so anyway, it's now managed. The situation with my dad, he's now got carers. He has Meals on Wheels to make sure he eats properly every day. Yeah. And the carers are wonderful. They email me, they'll leave me notes, they'll let me know what's happening. And I want to say, 2 carers out there everywhere, you're wonderful and thank you. Because without you, I don't know how I'd cope, or how he would cope, or how
you'd be there all the time. You'd be there all the time. Because we get called out all the time by them, don't we?
Thank you.
Sorry, you're doing thanks to carers. Yeah. And we're still around there a lot.
Yeah,
and you're on the phone to him all the time. But
it
does make it manageable.
Especially when I broke my foot.
Yeah. Well, you didn't break your foot.
Well, I broke a bit of bone off the top of my foot because I went like that with my
you twisted your ankle back.
Going over a door edge. And
landed on the stone floor.
And it just ripped a bit of bone off.
Few steps down.
Painful. It was quite painful.
I know, because I had to scoop you up off the floor and get you to hospital. So that was, and I was wheeling her around in a wheelchair for a little while.
Well, I like to keep you busy.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So what I want to do is I want to go to another clip here. So this is the autumn. It was actually because the autumn was quite good. I know I go on about the weather here, but the autumn was quite good. Weather. So this is a clip because this is our 1 year anniversary. We filmed this because it's exactly, well, it was yesterday, but yesterday, for whatever reason, we couldn't film. We wanted to film, but we got tied up with other things. So this is the 1 year and a day since we started our channel, and I don't know if you remember, some of you will, on that video, I was walking through the streets of Marazion with St Michael's Mount in the background. Well, this next clip is our friends Anne and Anthony came down for a few days on holiday, and this is us enjoying Marazion in the sun.
Let's give it a quick snack.
What was it? Vegan chocolate or Bakewell?
Was it a vegan something?
Vegan chocolate.
Vegan
chocolate.
fudge.
There was a blueberry and Earl Grey.
Joe?
Earl Grey something or another.
Hang on, let me get a better one. Let me get
A rainbow
And
light.
then I'll come back to you. Can't get away from it, can you? Just can't get away from it.
How beautiful is that?
A little bit further.
Back a bit. Can't quite get you in. There isn't a massive wave behind you. You're fine.
Watch out for the 7th wave.
Always the biggie.
Coming now.
Oh, lovely. Oh, it's really lovely. So warm.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the right time of year if you want to go for a swim.
Is it?
Don't let us stop you.
I don't like the thought of the fish.
Oh no.
Oh, it's
What,
lovely.
jellyfish?
Any kind of fish.
It's so hard trying to keep it steady.
If you went straight over that rock and then straight on, there's some bird.
Oh. Where? Oh yeah. Where is it? Yeah, right as far as you can
There
see.
you go.
Oh, is it a goose?
Oh,
Oh,
there
there
you
you go.
There's lots of geese in there. That's more like a heron or something, isn't it?
go. No, that's a
Cormorant, is it?
cormorant or a guinea mouse or a...
Could be a
Look
shag.
at the rays coming down.
So because I said, well, what's happened to that, Joe? Look. Okay. Oh no. No, I've messed it up in my big time.
No, you've sent it too far that way. That's it.
What have we just seen? We've just seen
St Michael's
Mount on a lovely day, and you'll see me there with some Rowan books, and that just reminded me that I'd like to say thank you to the people that have continued to support our knitting over the last few months that we've not been around. Yeah. I have been, you remember, I think it's a video before last, I was in the loft and we were sorting out the loft, and I have planned when on a nice sunny day, and it's actually, the sun has come out. It's been raining this morning, the sun's come out for us to do this video, but I am planning a stash video, and I've got this massive guilt thing about the amount of stuff that I hoard, because when you see the size of my stash, I'm not allowed to say that, am I? Right.
Really.
When you see it, I feel guilty about that, but then I've got the same in records, I've got the same in books, I've got the same in clothes.
Oh,
I hoard.
Found this lovely hand knit.
You didn't even know it was up there, did you?
Vintage hand knit in the loft.
And there's other things like this plane. So this plane is made in USA Stanley plane, and I think it makes it pre-1935, something like that. because it's got made in USA on there, and their current value is about a couple of £100 or more. I don't know, we'll see. We'll let you know, because I you know, we're having to sell it all. Well, we're having to sell it all because we don't need it.
Our children don't want it either. It's not fair. Knowing how much we've got to sort out at my dad's, it's not really fair.
Actually, and because Barry's a hoarder, King of Barini's a hoarder, so at some point we will have to deal with his hoarding.
We don't want to do the same to our children.
He does have a garage, which is just full of big plastic boxes full of books, from the floor to the ceiling, stacked up.
It's not a good plan, so we're not doing that.
There are quite a lot,
So
but
we're
there
going
was a
to-
bit of space,
Yeah.
and I filled it with records
Yeah.
from my hoarding.
Enabling us to sort stuff out.
We are going to sort it, and we did start selling,
Yes.
but we haven't got very far with it. So we did start on Etsy. We started selling like some of my knitting books and things like that, but I've got piles and piles of them. Thank you to those people that have bought some of those. I think my Rowan #1 knitting book and my Rowan #1 patchwork book both went within a day.
I think it helped knowing they've gone to a good home.
They've gone to good homes. Yes.
Wrenching them away from you. At least they've gone to somebody nice.
Yeah, they've gone to nice people. So, but thank you for everyone that's continued to support this channel by whatever means. Please subscribe and please like. And what our plans are for the new year. So we'd like to get back on track.
Yeah.
My knitting. So I had planned to
I would
finish.
like my scarf.
She would like. It's a
It'll
shawl.
be the summer by the
She
time
would
I
like
get to
her shawl finished. But as you can see, I've not done a row on that since our last video. But that is, I want to finish that, and I really want to finish because I'm knitting. For me, I'm knitting a off-pieced vest, and I really wanted to get that done as well. So I am really looking forward to getting back into the knitting now that things have settled down a little bit, and hopefully none of the kids are going to get sick. And touch wood, everyone's going to be well, and we can get on and do some of the stuff we want to do, because it has been probably the hardest period in our lives, and they all just lots of things just all came at once.
We did have some nice events mixed in, like my sister's wedding, and we also went on. Me and my sister went on a Ancestry sort of
weekend. We took a weekend away.
We went to Southwold, which is quite a long way from here.
It's the other side of the country, so we're in the bottom left hand corner, and Southwold is almost as far as you can go on the right hand side of the country. So
and we visited some graveyards and found our ancestors, and it wasn't depressing. It was absolutely lovely. It was lovely weather, and what's
next
flowers.
to Southwold?
Walberswick is where some of my family were from.
Yeah, beautiful part of the world.
It was lovely.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some clips in here, and also whilst we were there I took this photograph as well. No, I'll put that photograph in afterwards. So this is some of the footage from when Joe and Emma went ancestor hunting, which was October.
I think.
October.
I'm lost and alone, chilled to the bone.
Thank you.
shut.
It's locked there.
Yeah. Oh, look at that thing. It moves. Jiggly joggly. So much. Pub. Went in there and had a nice little.
Silver lady.
You can't quite read it. 16 something. Is it 16? Rogers. I can't see what it says. There, Rogers. Oh, yeah, I can see it. I'm trying to hone in on that.
It's quite hard to see that. Yeah, once you get it, they are R-O-G, yeah.
Take a picture of my sister. Take a picture.
Rogers, Rogers.
This is your earliest ancestor.
And this is
I'm the most.
Jeremiah,
Jeremiah, yeah.
I mean, that's
Jeremiah.
H-E-M-I-A-H.
Yeah.
I can't see as that's
Can
a
we
J.
Can we see
It
the?
must have been pretty awesome. I mean,
Can't see the dates on this one, can
that would have
we?
cost a bit. That's
We know it's.
That's interesting to me.
We know it's the descendant of John Rogers, the first
this one.
Protestant
I
monk.
can't see the dates, not very clear.
This is mid 17th century. I mean,
15th of July 1639, but the transcription upon the tomb now existing is of recent date and as follows: in memory of Jeremiah Rogers, late of this parish, who died December the 31st, 1840.
it doesn't say Jeremiah, it says Nehemiah.
Saints Church in Sudbury. Where our ancestors are. Nehemiah, Zechariah, possibly descendant of Roger of Sicily.
So that was a little weekend that we took away. Sorry, I'm jogging the table, I'm getting told off. So that was a trip away to Walberswick that we took in the autumn. And whilst we were there, we went to the grave of... It's not John Rogers' grave, is it? Because it's...
My great-grandmother was Lily Rogers, and we traced her back a long way, and it was, I think it's Nehemiah, Jeremiah, a lot of Rogers. It's like a little tomb.
Yeah, a little tomb, and it's next door. The next door tomb is John Constable's family tomb. Is the tomb to the left in this in the photograph as you look towards the church, and the family are descended from John Rogers, who was the first Protestant martyr who's burned at the stake by Queen Mary, and he was burnt in Smithfield in 1558 or something, something like that. Anyway, okay, and supposedly his family descends from Roger II, King of Sicily. I might put a little picture in here of Roger II, King of Sicily.
It would be nice. It's a very romantic thought.
Yeah, very romantic thought that you're related to Roger II, King of Sicily, and that I'll put a little picture of him in here with Jesus. So put that in.
I don't think that's real.
The picture of him with Jesus, well, no, because he was like a thousand years after Jesus, because he's like 1100 or something.
I think it's a mosaic.
It's a mosaic, yeah. It's not
in Sicily.
Yeah, in Sicily. Anyway, we haven't been there, but I think we want to go, don't we?
I'd love to.
Yeah, go and see some of the ancestors. Okay, so...
Oh, the photo.
What photo?
The orb photo.
Oh, yes. Actually, so this is a weird photo.
Very strange.
I took this photo. It's a bright sunny day. I took this photo. Jo put a little sprig of rosemary. So she, on the graves that she's been visiting, she'd been dropping rose petals.
And we'd run out.
You'd run out. And she got a sprig of rosemary and she just tucked it into like a little tiny crevice in the tomb. Well, we looked round and it had gone, which was weird. And then I took this photograph, which is even weirder. So for people that like ghost hunting and stuff like that, you'll see there's like, it looks as if there's light coming out of the tomb and there seems to be an orb. But it's a bright sunny day and I've never, this was just taken on my phone and I've not got any picture on my phone that looks like this at all. It's just really weird, but I'm going to insert that photo here for ghost hunters to inspect, see what you think. So that was the weird photo that I took. I actually took two within like 30 seconds of each other and they both look pretty much the same, so that's weird. Anyway, the other thing that I did was you saw a clip of Emma and Matthew's wedding. You'll know Emma as the non-knitting widow and Matthew as the
unknitting man.
The unknitting man. And they were married in Bristol, but Matthew wanted to have a stag do in Southend-on-Sea, which is my old stomping ground. So we travelled up by train and back by train. And whilst I was there, I went to see my mum. So I don't think I filmed anything because I haven't got any room on my, there's no, what's it called? Memory left on my phone.
Amazing technology.
Because something's coming up. Somebody's bought something on eBay, a jumper. There you go. So, so this, what I wanted to say was, yeah, I went to see my mum, and my mum has been working on a Bluebird. Is this her second one? I think she might even be on her third now, because since she started, she's loving it. Yes, my nieces and nephews are all having babies, so my mum's great grandchildren. So she's knitting for great grandchildren. So she's taken over. You're jogging. I'm jogging. So this is for my great niece. My mum's knitted this for my great niece. So I think these pictures are before she cut the steek. But since my mum's been working from this pattern, she's loved it and she just keeps going. So there you go. There was a lot more footage that Jo collected over the 4-month period, and maybe we'll put some of that. Well, we'll certainly be putting that on Patreon for our patrons to see what we've been up to, because I think there's like a load of footage. So we'll put that on Patreon. On our patrons. Thank you all our patrons for sticking with us whilst we've been quiet. We do plan to get back into gear this year, and we've got I'm not going to promise anything, but I really want to do the stash episode. I need the ground to be dry, nice sunny day, get all the stash out and show you, because I'm going to have to do it in the garden because there's too much of it for to put in a room in our little house that we live in. And I want to do that episode. I want to finish Mrs. Smith's shawl. Yes, I do. Yeah. And I want to do
your own thing.
No, my
for you.
My off-piste vest. Yeah. So hopefully it won't be so long. I mean, I'd like to be. I missed you all. I love doing the videos, and I've really missed you all. And I want to thank you all for all the love that you've sent our way, all the concern. Yeah. We've tried to at times when we've been really busy, we have struggled to reply. Yes. And there's probably, I mean, like, I don't think I've looked at Instagram for months. So if anyone's written to me on Instagram, we've probably not responded on there. We tried to respond on YouTube, but
some,
it might have been away. Yeah, might have missed some of them. Yeah, so hopefully our next video will be out very soon.
Yes.
That's the plan anyway. That's what we'd like to think, now that things have settled down a bit for us, and as soon as you stop hobbling around, once you're back on your feet and all the kids are well, we'll put out more videos. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to it. So yeah, I'd just like to, we'd really just like to thank everyone for sticking with us. Hopefully we can turn it back around. This time last year we were putting out a video every week, and yeah, hopefully we can at least get back to every couple of weeks, something like that.
Before we go though, I have to draw attention.
It's all right.
Sorry.
Sorry, it's low battery.
This horror, to me this is a horror. I love Turkish Delight, really love it, and I was so excited one evening to open my Turkish Delight, and when I did,
cherry.
Didn't realise. I mean, who thought that was a good idea? Cherry Turkish Delight. Wrong, just wrong. It was absolutely vile. So, what do you think?
There you go. That's Mrs. Smith's scribe. I mean, hopefully the whole video hasn't been too depressing. Really, don't know. We'll see.
I hope not. But we owed an explanation.
Yes, of why we've been away for so long. We haven't wanted to be away. No. But there you go. So I hope that kind of explains it. We haven't gone into the ins and outs, everything that's occurred.
It would take too long.
Because it would take too long. It'd be a little bit depressing. But they are the main things that have happened. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you don't already subscribe, and please give it a like. Well, not so much this one, because it'll put it in front of other people, and this is probably not the right video for people to watch if they're new to our channel. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks, bye. Oh, and it's good night from me.
It's good night from you.
And it's good night from her.
Oh, yeah.